Hello. Many of you have asked questions about what's happened to GoGuardian and what can we use? Well, they've done away with GoGuardian and we will now be using a program called NetRef. NetRef has a lot of the same buttons, bells, and whistles, but it also has more than what GoGuardian did. And I think you'll like some of the things that we can do with it. Um, One thing you're going to be able to do is know what each individual student and the entire class are using on the internet, where they're going and what they see, and you can watch them too. You can see, as they show here, little thumbnails of showing what they're on, or you can see what's being displayed on their screen. I'll get into that here in a little bit. The other thing, though, is you should be able to see that they are on assignment or not. If it's green, it means they're active. Gray, either they're absent or they're not on task. And that might also help in identifying what's going on. You can set up multiple rules. We're going to talk more about that here in a little bit, as far as how does it correlate with your class schedule. This is really important. The tech department has taken that over. It's not up to the teachers to determine when is early release or pep rally days and things like that. So I think you'll like that. We just have to let the tech department know what our schedules are. And we've been working, the admin's been working with them a lot to achieve that. Usage reporting. Now, this is another thing I really like about the NetRef options here is I can go in and see how much time a student's spending on their assignments, how much they're on the blocked sites or sites that we're not allowing. But also we can print this usage report out and share it with administrators or parents as the case may call upon. Now you can create a allow list. This sits there and says, okay, you're able to go to these sites. Um, you can also create a block list saying, hey, I keep seeing you go to this Spotify, for example. I'm just going to block it. And that way it's not available. And in case you're not aware, our bandwidth has been running extremely slow. We're having a lot of issues with streaming sites such as Spotify, which does use up our bandwidth. And when you've got 30 students and they're all listening to a different part or different genre of Spotify, then it uses up a lot of bandwidth. And that's something they're working on in dealing with to help speed up our network. Website pushing. You can close open tabs and send a website URLs to the individual student devices or an entire class to get them back online. The advantage with the individual is you can discreetly sit there and get a student back on task without making a big issue. However, sometimes it's easier just to do the whole class. Either they seem to be lost, they can't type it in correctly. You could just push it to the entire class. So this is a good advantage right here, and we'll look into that deeper. Instant messaging, maybe you need to notify a student. Again, you want to send them a little message about something they're doing that is disruptive. You could send a discrete message to them. But another thing I like about this is if you are not on campus, yet you're monitoring what the students are doing, you can often see that a student's off task and you can send them an instant message even though you're not on campus. This can have a really strong impact on the students, but it's also adding support to the substitutes that are managing your students. And they often appreciate that, even though it may seem little. Every little step can help. We really want to show support for our substitutes. Screen viewing. Again, you can view it in real time or screenshots from previously visited sites. And then we're going to look here at the teacher dashboard. Basically, you sign in, tisdnetref.com. I encourage you to bookmark this. That way you can quickly get there and you're not having to go through 3 or 4 websites to get to it. That really helps. After logging in, you're here at the teacher dashboard. Over here, you should see your classes already populated. Supposedly, the tech department is doing a good job about putting students in those classes as they enroll or as they pull out of your class. That changes, and I think it's synced up with Active Directory. So that should be a blessing with that. After logging in, you can open up a class. Often, this is how I see my students, and this is how you can go in there. This is called the tab view. This means it's active. If I click on this X, it disables their internet. If I go here, then they're on the allowed list or the blocked list. And so this can really be helpful if you're trying to work with an individual student quickly. Whereas these are giving you sites so that you can see where they are. Again, this can really be helpful to help ensure that they're on task by glancing down at that, and you're not trying to walk around the room. And often when I'm walking around the room, I don't see everybody. So as soon as my back's turned, I got 2 or 3 that are off site again. The other advantage is you could just post this up on the projector, and then again, you can quickly glance up there as you're working with small groups. Set your preferences. Again, you go up there, how to access, click on your name. Most of you have already done that. You can look at your campus, your courses here, your class options, how you can merge courses or edit your allow and block rules, hide and view course, your student report. Now, this is what I've been using, and I've shown it to the students in class. I've expressed, hey, let's look at your student report. Who would like me to look at theirs? I always have one that would volunteer, and then from that, I could quickly show it to the students, and then they would quickly understand about what we can share with their parents. Class report, again, you could look at that and then talk to the class as a whole about their engagement or their responsibility. And then we've got a brief video here about NetRef. We'll see if we can.
Let's jump back to the left-hand side of your dashboard and explore class options at the bottom of the list. Your student information system is a great place to pull your class rosters from, but we know that SIS aren't always up to date, or you may need to create custom groups or classes, like a study hall or club. To create a custom or ad hoc class, click on the Add Class in the top left corner. Give the class a name. In this case, we'll create a robotics club. Then select the school the club is associated with and click Next. Select any students you want to be a part of the new class. We'll choose Emily, Lyle, Colin, and Katie and move them to the Assigned Students column. Once the class is saved, it will appear in your list of classes and on the left-hand side of your dashboard. When you select this class, you'll see the students you assigned to it. On the main class options page, you can also sync with Google Classroom. Or if your student information...
Adding that class in there could be a really big advantage when you have a small number of students that you have special needs, accommodations that you have to manage. And that would allow you maybe to set up an allowed list for those that the others are using more of a blocked list. There's a lot of options. I'll be glad to work with you individually if you have more questions on that. We're going to continue with this video.
System pulls in classes you do not want to see. You can click on the eye icon to hide them from your class list that appears in the left column of your dashboard. You can also change class names. For example, you can rename English 101 to first period. If your student information system has created duplicate classes, you can merge them together. Let's see how easy it is to merge first period and Computer Science 8. Just select both classes, click Merge. Select which class you want to appear as the primary class and click Merge again. Now you'll see the two classes have been combined. Lastly, if you click to edit a class again, you can automate rules for each of your classes. Input which period the class is, and then choose the rule you want to apply at the beginning of that period. If you choose an allow list or block list, you can also choose a folder that contains specific rules. Here, we are selecting the science folder that we set up earlier. Once the bell rings for the start of a new class period, the rules you have chosen will automatically be applied.
All right. So I think that was a good summary, a quick introduction to many of the things I mentioned, but they also showed you how to get there. I really like being able to rename the classes so that I can easily locate them, but also being able to go in there and merge the classes for those occasions when you have multiple courses at the same time. So there's many advantages to that. We're going to, let's see, there we go. Left panel options, student reports. Now, I want you to really pay attention to the student reports because of the advantage this will give you when you're having to consult with parents about their child or the failing grade and the parents really don't understand what's going on. This is a powerful way to express that the student is off task and not doing the assigned work.
The last thing we're going to review is the reports that are available from your dashboard. Let's start with the student report in the lower left-hand corner of your dashboard. You can view a usage report for any student in any of the classes that you teach. We'll take a look at Math 101 and Collins usage. Once you've selected the class and student, click on this arrow to apply a custom time frame filter, or select from the options here, like entire school year, current month, or just the previous week, like we've selected here. Once you've selected your time frame, click this orange button to generate the report. So, what are we looking at? In the first report on the left, you can see the number of unique sites Colin visited last week. You can change what you're viewing in the dropdown so you can look at total blocked sites or total time online too. To the right is a pie chart showing the time Colin spent on task versus off task. NetRef generates this chart by comparing the total time Colin spent on the approved sites on your allow list versus sites not on the list. This gives you a quick way to know how often students are staying on task versus getting distracted. All of the charts you see on this page can be printed or downloaded and saved as an image. Keep scrolling down the page and you'll find the top sites chart. This top 50 list is invaluable for understanding how students are managing their time in class. It can be printed off for parent-teacher conferences or used to discuss time management strategies with the student. In this example, Colin visited Pandora and Spotify most often last week. Both of these music streaming sites could be distracting Colin from instruction and his schoolwork. You can click on each site name to see a list of the top 5 pages or subdomains Colin visited while on them. The last report in the Student Report tab is the Rule Application Pie Chart. Here you can see what rules you're using most for Colin during Math 101 to get a better idea of how you're helping keep Colin focused on learning. Let's switch over to the class reports now. The class reports provide the same great information that you can access in the Student Reports tab, but data is aggregated for an entire class. You can choose your class. We'll pick Spanish 403. Then pick the date range you want to review, in this case, the current week. Run the report to see the site data for the week. If you scroll to the bottom of the page, there's an additional report that is perfect for comparing the usage of a particular site between every student in the selected class. In this example, for Schoology.com, those students highlighted in red spend more time or less time on the website compared to those students within the average, noted in green. This is great for determining students who may be off task or struggling.
Okay, well, I hope that was helpful there. Again, individuals, you can pull up the reports, or for a class, I see a lot of advantages there. Now, over here to the side, when you're looking at your course, this is the internet. It means all the internet's allowed for all students. If you click on this, it's blocked for all. That's great when you're needing to get the class attention and getting a point across to them. Allowed only list, blocked only list, modify where you can go in and change it. Here you go. This is how you can send a message or open a website for students. This is really helpful when you're trying to direct the students or you give them guidance. Now, screen to tabs toggle. Down here, this is where if you feel like you're not able to see what the students are, what they're on, you could click here and change that button so that you can see it. So it's just depending upon what you prefer to see up there on the display as to how you have that positioned. All right. We're going to skip over this one. I may watch it again later or introduce it later if I feel like there's something that would be helpful. Now, this is your allowed list and your block list. I think you might find this useful. Again, I think I may just add an attachment for that. I know I'm trying to go through this quickly. Many of you have a lot going on, but this could really be helpful in controlling your students. If you need more help with this, contact me or Ms. Brucker and we can help you with that. So you can see that they're pointing out how the status reflects the filtered. So click on allow list for the class, and that is the sites that are allowed. So you can see they're showing that this hippocampus, and then there was another one, dictionary.com. Those are the three that are allowed right here. So this is the allowed list. Okay, the bell schedule, we can't control that. We can no longer adjust that. Like I mentioned earlier, the tech department does that. If you see that there's a conflict or you know of something that's up and coming, contact John Woodward or me and we'll see what we can do. Merging classes, they talked about that earlier. We'll move on. And then frequently asked questions. The best thing you can do, we'll just skip through this. You can pause this video and read over it if there's something you want. I know your time is important to you, but I'm also available if you have questions. Same with Ms. Brucker. We'll do the best we can to help you. We're very busy like yourself, and it's hard to find us. Then how to navigate between classes, just click on it. Again, I recommend that you change it into something that's easy for you to find. And you can see that they had clicked the X there, and then just to open it back up, they've gone back and clicked on the green. How to block a student, you can take that student, click, and then click on the X. So if it was wide open for the whole class, but you needed to just give an allow list for this one or group of students, you could click there. And then it's only on they can only go to the sites that are on that list. Blocked list, this is where it's a little more open, but a blocked list is only as good as what you keep updated. And often I find it's easier to use an allowed list than a blocked list. And then same for the entire class. And then the block for the entire class. Same with the allowed list and the block list. How to send messages. You can then choose individuals, you can choose multiples, or you can click here and that would choose everyone. Or you can also send a message that way. Again, this could really help our substitutes by making the kids realize that even though you're not in the classroom, you're still monitoring their activities. And then pushing a website. You can do it to an individual student by pushing to that one student. But you can also do it to the whole class. All right, that summarizes the training. I hope that helps you. Please, if you have any questions, don't hesitate to come contact me. I will help you as much as I can.